What's up, Fallible Nation? Welcome to Fallible Nation Live, and it is a glorious Monday night. We are so excited to be here with you. We can't wait for tonight. I love Monday night sessions with you guys, and on tonight's show, we're sharing 8 life lessons that men learn way too late in life, in the hopes that maybe we can help you make some great strides forward ahead of your time, and myself included in that as well, guys. So don't think I'm just pointing fingers here. There's a truth behind the fact that there's not a little, but a lot of knowledge that usually comes with age and experience. Even in a time when you can find a lot of those lessons readily available on the internet or in books, maturity or lack thereof hinders us from accepting these things a lot of times. We have this amazing need to believe that we're smarter than everyone who came before us ever. Even if we don't admit it out loud, that's what's going on in our heads a lot of times. We believe that we'll always be the exception and not the rule, right? Everybody's a special snowflake and all that good nonsense. On this episode, we're going to cover some age-old wisdom that men often fail to know or believe until life has compounded that lesson in often harsh ways. And so I'm really excited to share these things because these things I'm having to learn, and I'm guessing other men got to learn it too. So without further ado, let's get into the show. Now, guys, you will notice that in the description of the video, whether you're on YouTube or Facebook, it doesn't matter. I screwed up and forgot to put a link in for the form. So if you have questions, please make sure and put a QQ in front of them in the chat section. Let us know you have a question. We would love to answer it. We love to have you as part of the show. It makes the show so much more fun for us as well, and hopefully for you when you guys get involved in the conversation. Last week we were having a killer conversation. It was incredible. Like, I actually got distracted because I was enjoying reading the conversation that was happening in the chat so much more than I was enjoying doing the show, just because I love interacting with you guys, and you had a great conversation going on there. So join us in the conversation in the chat section. If you want to be seen, you'll notice you can have this nice little logo where you can see that. If you want yours to be seen and you're on Facebook and want it to be seen like that logo, then you have to go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, and that just lets it show your little icon instead of your initial like this. If you don't care, that's fine. We don't care. We just love to see your lovely face, and we love to know you're here. So join in the conversation, chime in, and let us know you're here tonight. We are absolutely excited. I see that Shirley's jumping on. I see a lot of people jumping on, and we just haven't seen you in the comment set yet. Join the conversation, guys. It's way more fun, and I promise you're way more entertaining than I am. The conversation just gets wild sometimes. It's great. Now, without further ado, I don't want to unvalue. That's wrong. Devalue? No. I don't want to waste your time. How's that? We'll just go there. So, without further ado, number one is everything is temporary. Life works in crazy loops sometimes, and when things are hard, it's difficult to see it, but everything is temporary. Sometimes you just have to get a few years under your belt before this becomes obvious, because, right, hindsight gives you a clarity that other things usually don't. But life ebbs and flows. It's never just a straight line for very long. And so you have to understand that good times, bad times, everything comes and goes, everything rolls. And the only thing that's really constant is change. Now, this is both good and a little bit difficult to deal with, because that means that the good times are not always going to stay. When life is smooth sailing, the storm's usually not too far away. But that also means that when things are really bad, it's not going to stay that way. If you're having a lot of difficulties, time will move you along. So understand everything is temporary. Stop planning on everything flowing a certain way, and just practice and start getting yourself better at handling change, which is really difficult for a lot of us. A lot of us don't like change. That's me. I don't like change. But if you start getting better at being okay with change and rolling with change, then the ups and downs are really kind of easy to weather. So that's number one. Now I see Jill's jumping in. And I was asked very specifically to display that comment. And I'm playing with Sarah now. Here we go. There we go. Oh, no. Fix it, Sarah. Fix it. See, this is what happens when I try and touch things. Jill, I was asked very specifically to make sure that you were visible because our people who watch on YouTube couldn't see who I was talking to last time. So say hi to Jill. She's joining us on Facebook. Sorry, guys. I can see both conversations, even if you can't. I know that's a little obnoxious for some of you on one platform or the other, but we have people on both platforms joining us from YouTube and Facebook. That is the advantage of the software I use, is I can be in multiple places at once. But hey, continue the conversation. You guys who are that the only problem is when we start having those conversations, sometimes Facebook's having one conversation and sometimes YouTube's having the other conversation. And it gets really funny because each other can't see the comments. So we have to call those out. Oh, the joys of technology, right? Yay. All right, guys. Point number 2. So we're not just burning daylight here. Life is not fair. Now, this is one huge point that we need to make clear. And you can find this on posters and everywhere else. Life is not fair. Let me make this clear. Life is not fair, nor will it ever be. Now, I see this becoming this really weird trend with participation trophies over the last 20 years, and everybody's a winner, and yay, we all won. Now, the fact is, life is not fair. It will never be fair, and that's okay, because there's nothing wrong with incentivizing people and rewarding people to put in the effort or the work over people who choose not to. We will get to that later because there's a choice comment in there later. But there's nothing wrong with incentivizing people to want to work a little more hard or put in extra effort, because evening out the work doesn't guarantee anything. Right? And that's the hard part, is life isn't fair. You may be working harder than somebody else. And sorry if I keep reaching for my ears, guys. I'm using a different set of earbuds tonight and they're not sitting as well. But even if you're working harder than other people, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get a reward. That doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get picked, because that's unfortunately just the way it works. It doesn't mean you should work less hard. It just means that life doesn't always balance that way. There's always other things at play. And so the sooner we get this idea of life is meant to be fair, or we're all going to get, the same, just don't. It's going to just break your heart. It makes life more difficult for you, and it will just stress you out in the long run. And unfortunately, that doesn't seem to soak into our heads until we're usually over a certain age. Number 3 is the biggest risk is taking no risk. Now, I have always struggled with this as an adult, right? As a kid, this was not a big issue for me, but as an adult, this was absolutely a difficult concept for me to deal with. Once I got married, I was afraid of taking risk because I feel like I'm neglecting my responsibilities as a husband and now as a father. If I take too big of a gamble, I'm not just taking me, I'm taking me and my wife and my kids, right? There's a lot more riding on the line. And so it's really, for me as an adult, this is one that's really hard for me to square with and be okay with, because I don't want to risk them. I don't mind risking me. I don't want to risk them. But the fact is, playing safe is not always the best answer. If you want life to be more than average or more than mediocre, then you have to be willing to take risk. You can't play it safe all the time, because when you play it safe all the time, you're going to miss out on all the things you want to achieve, all the big goals, all the really big aspirations. Those just go out the door if you're not willing to take some risk. And so it is a constant gamble, and you have to decide which risks are worth it. But if you don't take risk, life will always be mediocre. I was getting ready for this week's podcast with Dr. Victor Monzo. It will be out Wednesday. And that was one of the things we were talking about, is as a collective of humans, we will pull people back. People are pulled back towards the common denominator if they don't actively seek to be more than average. That's just the way it works. And, but I won't spoil that because that's on Wednesday's podcast. Be sure and check that out Wednesday when it comes up. Now, guys, stick around for just a second because we got to pay the bills, because that's how life works. So stick with us and we'll be right back. How well do you sleep at night? Do you toss and turn and wake up more tired than when you went to bed? Sleep is commonly one of the critical elements people fall short on in their life. The quality of sleep you get directly affects your ability to control your weight, your ability to add muscle, your stress levels, and your everyday job and life performance. If you're ready to move to the next level, then sleep has to be part of the plan. Check out our friends at ghostbed.com if you're ready to get your best sleep. I love my ghost bed. I've been sleeping on one for a couple years and has made a huge difference in how I sleep. Hit ghostbed.com and use the code TheFallibleMan30 to get 30% off your order and start getting better night's sleep tomorrow. Now, let's go on to the show. Who was that handsome devil? Oh, man, they let anybody on this channel. Sarah says, failures are some of the most useful learning opportunities. 100% agree, Sarah. Failures are absolutely useful opportunities. I see Shirley and Kathy chatting back and forth in the comment section. Let us know you're here, guys. This is so much fun. I love seeing who's here. I love interacting with you guys, and it just makes the night that much better. This is why I started doing live streams, is I enjoy actually getting to interact with you guys and hang out with you. That is the limitations of being a podcaster, is I have to go to separate platforms if I want to interact with the people who listen to the podcast. So let us know you're here. Join in the conversation. Number 4, the importance of being present. Present. There we go. I'm tongue tangled tonight. It's been a long day, guys. I've done an entire show on the importance of being present. And so I'm not going to take up a lot of tonight with that. You will miss the best parts of your life if you don't learn to be present in the moment. So if you want to dig into being present, the power of being present, it was season 2, episode 48. We're now in season 3. It may be on the new YouTube channel. If it isn't been moved over there, it's still on my old YouTube channel. I didn't delete anything. I'm just slowly moving them over if you're following the whole channel to channel thing. But if you want to get into that, it was called The Power of Being Present. Go check that out. I did a whole show on it and we touched on it several times, but I don't want to burn up tonight with that one. Hey, Jared. Jared's jumping on. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for jumping in tonight. Always good to have you on. Number 5, overthinking makes things worse. This is just facts, ladies and gentlemen. Going down the rabbit hole on anything can be dangerous. We often get in our own way by overthinking. I'm a huge proponent of thinking first, right? On this channel, you will always hear us talk about think through it, research, do your due diligence, make a plan, make smart goals, right? Does this sound familiar? Let us hear this in the comment, guys. Are you guys recognizing what I'm saying? We getting it? Because we talk about this a lot, right? However, there's a line between that and going down the rabbit hole too far in your head. And this is where things get to be too complicated, right? Because there's 2 options of this. There's overthinking things and taking them way past a point of you should have been doing something right. The overthinking that keeps us from acting, right? That causes inaction, that causes procrastination. There's that overthinking. And then there's the overthinking where you overthink something someone said or did and take it way too far down the rabbit hole instead of just kind of letting it roll through, right? Your mind will almost always head towards the worst possible thoughts in any situation. And that's just a fact. Number 6, happiness is a choice. My father used to tell me this all the time when I was a kid. That and boredom and happiness. That's what he told me. Being happy is always a choice. Being bored is always a choice. So this is hard to explain simply because it's really straightforward. You control your response to everything. So happiness is a choice, even in the darkest times. No matter what's going on, no matter how bad it is, you have the choice to how you react to it, how you deal with it, and how you respond. More obvious spin would be the people who are always unhappy. No matter what they do, no matter what's going on in life, right? You have people who are always miserable. They could win the lottery and have a happy, successful job and marriage and the most amazing kids in the world, and they're still miserable, right? Have any of you met those? Am I the only person who's ever met those people? Hey, if you're watching this on the replay, tell me I'm not alone. Let me know that you've met those people. Chat, join the chat in the conversation in the comment section, because I respond to all the comments on the videos, guys. Let me know I'm not crazy. I'm not alone on this one. But, right, you're always in control of being happy. It's all on you. You get to choose. So happiness is absolutely a choice. We'll jump back into the comment section for a minute. And guys, let us know you're here if you jump in. There you go. Kathy and Dave say, I'm so excited that you might come, Jared. I was having a conversation. Jared is choosing whether he's taking a virtual attendance or whether he's coming in person for the Phoenix conference. And what a great segue. Thanks for that, Jared. Look how good you are. The Phoenix conference is coming February 10th and 11th in Quincy, Washington. And it does not matter if you are here in person or if you are virtual, or if you have a group or organization that would like to attend the Phoenix conference. We have a simulcast option, which you can contact us at the Fallible Man about. The Phoenix conference is going to be awesome, guys. We have great speakers lined up for you. Most of these people have been on the podcast. In fact, in the next couple of weeks, you'll hear from 2 more of them that are on that poster coming out on the podcast in the next 2 weeks. Just because I want to make sure that you guys hear them and know them before you make a decision on the Phoenix. But guys, we're going to have an incredible in-person and virtual event this year for the Phoenix conference. And if you'd like to be a part of that, you can get tickets at thefallibleman.com/the Phoenix. That's where registration is. Like I said, we even added a new option this year where we can simulcast. So if you are a long ways away and you have a group of men who would like to make this to their own event, we can help you set up that as well. So that way they can have their own event and just use our speakers. I'm crazy about this, guys. I want to share it with the world. So let us know. Go register. Get your tickets. They're on sale. Prices will be going up at the beginning of the year. I'm keeping them low until we're done with Christmas, but then they're going to go up. So, guys, get your tickets now for the Phoenix if you're thinking about coming. We'd love to see you there. Jill says, I will always choose to be happy. Now, I've known you your whole life. That's my cousin. So I can say that. I've known you my whole life, and yes, that's true. She will always be happy. It's amazing. Jill's one of the happiest people I've ever met. Jared said he would love to see Kathy when he comes up for the Phoenix, because we're just going to assume he's coming, whether he says so or not. And guys, if you're wondering what that's about, I would love to explain that more to you. You can always reach me over at info@thefallibleman.com and go check out what's going on the website. We have so much going on. It's gotten so busy. I've actually had to move the podcast to his own website because we just have so much going on thefallibleman.com besides the podcast. So go check that out. See what's going on. We got brand new merch up, even for our boys over at Common Man OCR. We got their merch up. We got our merch up. We got a new podcast design. It's super sick, guys. I'm loving that design. Go check out what's going on there, and we'll get back to the show. Number 7. Stop worrying about what other people think. 99% of people aren't paying attention to you and don't care. I'm not saying this to be rude. I'm not saying this to be mean. We are a self-absorbed society. In this day and age, we are all a bit conceited. I mean, everybody thinks that everything they do is noteworthy. That's why I didn't have a Facebook account for years, because I really didn't care that so-and-so ate at Chick-fil-A today. That is not a nugget of wisdom or anything great. I mean, all you got to do is look at social media, right? We build these amazing monoliths to ourselves. Look at me, how great I am. I see this with people who come to the gym all the time, right? People are intimidated by others and worried that people will judge them when they come to the gym because they're out of shape or they don't know how to do something or they're a little heavy or whatever. No one cares. Okay. The people at the gym are there for themselves. And unfortunately, that extends to most of the world. The fact is, very few people actually care. If you're really blessed, you have an amazing family around you that you were either born with or you've made for yourself, and that's really close friends. That's not all blood, right? That's really close friends too, who are just part of your household. And if you're really lucky, you've got really 5 or 6 close friends in a good long lifetime. The majority of people you interact with don't care. They're all in it for themselves. Okay. If you base everything down, we're always going to make a decision for ourselves. I can't say that. The majority of people are going to decide for themselves, right? They're worried about what's going on in their life. And it's not that they're trying to be rude. It's we all have our own things that are going on in our lives. And that's what we're worried about, right? It's not we just hate other people. That's why we don't care. No, it's, I care about what's happening in my family, in my life, and what I've got to take care of and my responsibilities. And so they're not worried about you. So stop worrying about what other people do. There are so many people who get anxiety about what other people who don't even know them think about what they're doing, guys. And this really hurts you in the long run. It has nothing beneficial for you. And it really isn't going to impact you. How you feel about yourself, how the people who are in your immediate tight circle feel about you, that matters. You get much outside of that, it doesn't. So stop worrying about what other people are thinking about you. Number 8, there is always a choice. You don't make choices based on choices. You make choices based on consequences. That's really how choices are made. People mistake this all the time. I'm making the best choice. No, I'm choosing the consequence or reaction to it, right? I'm okay with this. I'm not okay with that. So I'm going to choose this, right? We're not picking the best choice. We're picking the consequences we can live with or we would prefer to live with. I've had this argument almost every time I've ever said this. Like people argue this with me all the time. It's like, no, you don't have a choice in everything. No, you really have a choice in everything. You've always had a choice. It may seem like you don't, but you ultimately do. You pick your consequences, not your actions. When it seems like there's no choice, it's because you think the consequences of the other option are so unreasonable, are not okay, are not something you could live with, that you see it as not having a choice because the possible consequences are unacceptable. However, you still have a choice. You don't see it that way because the consequences are unimaginable. Wow, okay, these suck when I start moving a lot. I'm too animated, right? You still have a choice. And right, sometimes those choices are really hard because the consequences are something we can't imagine. Sometimes the consequences are dire. But even in the situation where you have a dire consequence as a possibility, you still have a choice, right? If you don't pay your taxes, you can choose not to pay your taxes. There will be consequences if you don't pay your taxes because the government wants their cut. But you still have that choice. You can choose to live with those consequences if you don't do it, right? You can choose not to obey the traffic laws. You will pay some dire consequences and hurt other people probably if you don't. But you can still make that choice. For some of us, that's unimaginable because I don't ever want that on my head. That's what keeps me obeying the traffic laws. It has nothing to do with the laws themselves. Is I don't want that on my head that I hurt somebody else because I was stupid. It's that simple, right? I don't want that. I don't want my bad choices to impact other people. But you still have a choice. No matter what you think, you still have a choice. It's a matter of which consequences are you willing to accept? Are you willing to live within? Are you willing to take on? That is the real choice. It's not a choosing what's best. It's a choosing what you find acceptable to live with. So there's always a choice. I'm long-winded tonight. I'm sorry, guys. Number 9, guys. I actually planned for 8, but I had to throw this in. I've been on so many meetings recently, and I was talking with another podcaster earlier today, and we were talking about this. You have to choose carefully who you surround yourself with. Your time is the most precious resource you have. Money can be made or lost. For some of us, making money is not as easy as others. There are some people who, have a gift in their relationship with money and their abilities. They have a gift and they somehow just see the right moves to turn anything into an incredible opportunity. And that's great. That may not be you. You may have to work harder for your money just because you don't see those angles like I don't. But money can always be made or lost, right? I promise, right? If you look at your bank account right now, right? If you play my game, even if you're watching this on the replay, you can play this game too, okay? Look at your bank account right now. A week ago, was your bank account more or less than what it is now? Because if it isn't the exact same number, then you can prove me wrong on this. If it's the exact same number, it's you can prove me wrong, I guess, kind of. But money, right? That number tends to change. That's how bank accounts work. Money can be made and lost. Your time, however, is finite. You have it. There's a clock. We may not see it, but there's a clock. There is an end time on your life at some point. And hopefully you live a good, long, healthy life and do a lot of great things in the world and lift other people up and, help other people and live a good life. But there is a finite amount of time that you have in this world. That is your most valuable resource. Because of this, you should be incredibly aware of who you're spending time with and what you're doing with that time. You have to be doubly careful of who you spend it with because those people will also influence what your life looks like. If you surround yourself with negative people, you will start to gain a negative outlook. This is just undeniable science. They've done lots of research in this field. If you spend it with people who are content, then you'll struggle to be ambitious and chase bigger dreams and goals that you might have had at one point. If you spend it with people who are unhappy all the time, right? Going back to that conversation earlier, those people who are always unhappy, no matter what their situation is, then you will become discontented with everything. You've heard it said that you're the sum of the 5 people closest to you. I don't know that that's entirely accurate. There's some debate about that. I have actually researched that statement. There's some debate about that, but it is an absolute truth that you are heavily influenced by the sphere of people around you. So be really careful because not only do you have limited time, but who you surround yourself with will reflect in your attitude about things and the choices you make, in the risk you're willing to take or not, right? And some of the other things we've talked about. So choose carefully because that is a finite thing. Jill says, iron sharpens iron. Choose wisely for sure. I sell an amazing t-shirt that says that. Well, not word for word, but close. Shirley says you will become most like the books. I'm going to guess that the rest of that statement is that you fill your head with or that you take in. And that would be accurate too. You have to be careful about what you're putting in to yourself, right? I stopped watching the news because it just is a proven fact. People who watch the news are actually less happy. It's just a fact these days because most news is bad, right? If you actually take yourself, I'm a big proponent of this, take a digital break and get off social media for a little while, you'll find out you're a lot happier too. That is research fact, ladies and gentlemen. So, jump off social media. If you're struggling with being happy, you might be spending too much time on social media because it drags you down. That is actually a scientifically proven fact. I don't see any questions. Like, man, you guys are really easy tonight. No questions, no smart remarks. Guys, I'm so grateful for you taking the time to be here tonight and to hang out with us here at Fallible Nation. I love you guys so much. You absolutely make my week better. The rest of the thought was the books you read, the media you watch, and the people you hang out with 5 to 10 years from now. You'll become most like those 5 to 10 years from now. You're right. Absolutely. Guys, you really do make my week better. I hope your week is better because of this show. I am so grateful for the time you spend with us. And I love these interactions. I love to get to talk with you guys. Hit me up. I'm the easiest person in the world to find. Not always the easiest person in the world to talk to because I'm busy myself trying to run a 3-ring circus sometimes with my own ambitions. But I love interacting. Monday is a high point in the week for me because I get to hang out with Fallible Nation. Be sure, get registered for the Phoenix Conference. If you're into that, we'd love to have you at the Phoenix Conference. Dave says, late to the party again, but no big deal. Brother, you showed up. I'll take you late. I don't mind. I won't hold that against you. You showed up, and that's a lot for me. The fact that you showed up means huge things. So thank you for that. Guys, as always, be better tomorrow because of what you do today, and we'll see you on the next one.